You've reached the CEO hotline. This is Krystal Jugarap, business mentor, visibility strategist, community builder, and your new favorite person to have on speed dial. Because you and I both know you are done playing small. This line is for wildly ambitious women founders who are ready to stop winging it and start running their business like a true CEO. We're talking raw, unfiltered strategy, real case studies, and some seriously ceiling-shattering powerhouse CEOs dropping in on the line. So stay on, because this call, it's about to change your business. Don't hang up.
Okay, so tell me more about, is it called it's Little Seeds, right? I just had it up.
Black
No,
Seeds
Black Seeds.
Project.
Black Seeds. Okay. I know a Little Seeds company also.
Nice.
Yeah, so tell me. Tell me about everything that you're doing.
Yeah. Okay, so where do I begin? I like starting off by saying that a majority of my work has been within nonprofit structure. And I had been working as a healing justice program director for an organization for about 5 years. And we focused on working with queer and trans survivors of violence. And during the uprisings, the racial uprising, I very clearly was like, I'm not seeing Black people come in here. So I'm taking folks out into nature and doing one-on-one sessions. And I called it Black Seeds Project. It was like mindfulness sessions, and I had no intention of it being an actual business. But it was interesting because, and I think everybody was pretty activated around the time. And so I just shared it on my social media, and I got a few $1,000s just to be like, all right, we see you doing a thing, do it. And I had still continued working with this organization, and then it felt like it was time. I was like, something needs to shift. I don't know exactly what, but went on a whole different kind of journey.
Okay.
And so Black Seeds Project has been around for 6 years, but I've done a lot of work with other organizations. And then I'm like, I do this one thing. The focus, I'm still working with people who have experienced trauma. That's not the orientation. The orientation is around building a relationship with the natural world. And it looks like one-on-one sessions. It looks like group seasonal programs, noticing how our nervous systems attune to the wintertime, attuned to springtime. I know we're in California, so it's a little different, but like in other places, but just the different signatures of the time. And then we're having conversations about it. We're building connection. And there's just a lot of rest as well. So it's a lot of, I call it like, we're in a place of prayer around like, what are we wanting for this season for ourselves and each other? It lights me up. It lights me up every single time. And I've been in a place where, I lost a pretty significant funding from another job. And so now I'm like, okay, this is the time, figure it
Yeah.
out, what's going on. And I have a promo video, which is really cool, and I have a trailer, so it's nice to like, let people know a little insight visually to see.
Yeah.
But I'm in this place of like, how do I stand out a little bit more? And so when you were talking about visibility, I was like, what? Oh,
It's a little bit of my thing. Just a little bit of my thing. Okay, so previously at the beginning you mentioned like people gave me like thousands of dollars because they saw me doing my thing. What does that mean? Does that mean like you got sponsored or like people were paying you to be a part of these retreats and like the activations that you were doing?
right. Love that. Basically, it was like just Venmo and PayPal. So people
Okay.
who either like friends and family or people who have noticed that I'm doing something. Somebody may have put it on their newsletter. I received like $1,000 check out of nowhere. I'm like, who is this person? Like it just came from this place of like people wanted to do something and they're like, okay, let's here.
Amazing. So, but you're not a nonprofit though. You just work in the nonprofit space.
Yeah. I worked at a nonprofit space, but I don't have 501(c)(3) status.
Got it. Is that what you're aiming towards?
No.
Okay, got it. Okay, so what has been you've been in business for 6 years, but it seems like now is when you're like actually trying to treat it like a business, like a true
Yeah.
business. How are you building the foundation for that? So where are you currently at with that process?
Yeah. It's freaking out. It's it's like, meeting with different coaches around working with fear, because that's a big one that shows up.
Okay.
It's really looking at my services and being like, all right, this is cute. And which ones can actually bring in the money? Which ones are bringing a lot more joy? Recognizing that the one-on-ones are great, but It's actually just it's a lot of energy to, I'm building altars for people. I'm like in their prayer, in their experience, and so it's not something that I actually want to push too much. I actually want to focus on my groups and doing multiple groups, like per season is actually something that I'm going in the direction of. Right now, there's a fellowship that is $50,000 that I really feel like I have a opportunity to be a part of. I've reached out to people who I know who have received that funding to talk to them about it, and it's the first time that I'm ever doing a pitch. Like a
Okay.
3 minute and like doing a budget. So I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like really trying to gear myself up to make it happen. So a lot of conversations are happening. That's all. Yes.
So are you like actually investing into coaches right now, or is that through like programs like Built Here?
Right. So like programs like Bill here, which was cool because I met somebody there who has come to some of my offerings and we've done exchanges. So she's come to my classes. I've supported with on her website to offer insight around nonprofits because that's where she wants to work with like
Okay.
coaches or
Uh-huh.
sorry, executive directors. And
Uh-huh.
so I've had 3 sessions with her and we've just done exchanges.
Okay, so when it comes to like, I mean, I feel like there's so many things that you're working with. I think the biggest thing is preparing to pitch for this fellowship. What is the deadline for that?
It's March 3rd.
Okay, have you had any experience with like deck creation or anything like that before? I'm assuming, are you creating a deck for it?
I'm sorry.
A deck?
So what it looks like, I don't know if I can show you the things, but there's like a written portion of it, and then there is the pitch where it's actually they give you the questions, but it's a 3 minute video that they want.
Oh,
And so I do a video, then I upload it to the platform.
got it.
But it's mostly like a combination of written questions, written answers,
Okay.
the pitch, and then the financial budget that they want to see.
Quick interruption. If you're a woman in business, you know summer gets loud. Kids are home, you got vacations to go on, there's a lot going on, and it can be easy to feel like you're losing momentum. So I built Summer Proof. It's 60 days in Telegram where we're sharpening the most important aspects of your business. Yes, even if you're working less hours over these next couple of months. It is not a heavy, time-consuming course, and it's definitely not just accountability. We're going to get so much deeper than that so that we can set you up for major momentum. Every day you'll receive a quick voice note from me that'll shift your perspective on how you're approaching your business and offer one small but powerful action you can actually take in all the beautiful chaos of summer so that you're walking away feeling more clarity, conviction, and excitement about your business than ever before. We just got started on the 15th, so that means there's still time to join in on the fun. The link is in the show notes. All right, let's get back into it.
Okay. Yeah. And then aside from that, and aside from feeling potentially the doubt and the imposter syndrome and the fear of putting yourself out there and turning this into a business, like how are you feeling visibility wise?
Mm, love the question. I've noticed when I've gone to some like small business things, like I feel bright energy. I went to one on Friday and folks came up to me and they were like, I want to be a part of what you're doing, like sign me up, which feels really exciting. But I'm also like, like it's kind of it freaks me out a little, if I'm being honest.
Uh-huh.
And you know, something that has I've noticed is like people when I'm out in community, folks have associated me with other organizations. Like they've known I've partnered with a lot of people
Okay.
and they're, oh, I've seen you at this, or I've seen that one flyer at da da da. And so
Uh-huh.
I'm kind of like, okay, yes, and this year is about Black Seeds Project has a certain vision that is alignment with other people, but it's different. And so like I need to come forth, as like a bolder leader. That's not, a top down thing, but
Got it. Okay.
different way.
And you feel like you're struggling actually like communicating that when people, especially people that are already familiar with you from different spaces, or have
Yeah.
this conversation with. Yep. Okay. So I think it really is. I mean, for one thing that I always say is that you get so much more clarity and confidence simply by doing, by putting in the reps. And it feels hard and it can feel like a struggle sometimes, but really like that discomfort is really you stepping into your expansion. And ultimately, what you want to keep in mind is this beautiful vision that you have that you want to create and the transformation that the people that are in your space are going to receive from that, right? And it's not nearly as much as you putting yourself out there as it is you being a service to the people that you serve and letting them know what options are available to them, right?
Yeah.
Because if it was like another nonprofit that you work with and you know someone in your own network that could highly benefit from that, like you have no problem being like, you need to get into the space because the resources are amazing. The transformation, like the everything that you get from that, from being in that space, whether that's from like the holistic healing, the somatics, whatever it is, like the coaches that are in there, like it is transformational. And when you shift your perspective of, and it takes time, but to allow yourself to be that thing that you are referring people to, or the spaces that you're creating of, this is why it's so powerful and you need to be in it because I see you and I want to support you and I want to see you win. And I know that there's so much potential in you, but there's so much more depth in there that you're suppressing. And we want to bring it out because you have so much beauty to bring into this world. Like, then it becomes a different conversation of you not trying to sell yourself, but you showing them what's possible for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So what specific, like, is there anything like specific other than that that you're like really feeling challenged by or you're feeling friction in terms of the way that you're showing up and how to speak on everything that you're offering?
Yeah. Thank you. I guess there's a few things that are coming up. I mean, money is just like
Money, investment money, or you feeling like you need to bring the money in?
me bringing in the money really tight. There's been times where I've woken up and I'm like, oh, there's like panic that's coming up. I noticed like I met with the executive director at Berkeley Arts Center a couple weeks ago. I came with a proposal. I was feeling really good. After the hour and a half, I kind of like crashed. I was like, "Oh my God, I'm so tired." And I noticed myself, being able to listen well, but I was wanting kind of like, we're doing this is the amount of money, and like signing a contract kind of thing. And, things take time and they're actually weren't sure about their budget. And so it was kind of like this actually is going to be we'll see what happens. I'm going to do an intro session with their members, but I lost my train of thought a little bit just because, yeah.
Is that the primary direction that you want to go in, where you continue partnering with other organizations and facilitate for their audience, or are you really
Mhm.
wanting to be able to craft your own audience?
Right. I love the question. I think that something that feels a little bit more easeful is partnering with people. They already have the folks. I'm coming in. Let's build a like sacred space together. Let's do
Yeah,
some rituals. Boom.
yeah,
It does feel like there's times I'm with my programs, I'm putting so much out there, social media, my newsletter, I'm doing video, doing these things, and it's like pulling teeth. But then the people who come, I'm like, oh my God, exquisite. It just feels
yeah,
like it takes a lot of efforting. And my yoga studio classes are doing well. When I do workshops there, they tend to do like 13 to 15 people. I don't have to put a lot of energy into it, but it's the outdoor work. It's the work in nature. People are like, "Oh, I'm interested," but then they don't follow through, or it just takes people just aren't signing up. And so it's really interesting to notice the distinction between the locations. And yeah, I don't know. There's just so much to address. I know when we're outside, some people don't have that comfort. So it's just really interesting to notice.
yeah. It's about really like figuring out like how do you bridge all of those gaps, right? And it seems like the contracts with the organization seems like the easier option, but I feel like you are being drawn to really just creating this whole audience and community of your own, and those can really work hand in hand. And the
Mm,
work that I do with my clients is really understanding like ultimately like what are you building towards and of the resources that you already have, like how can you leverage those? So it might be a mix right now. And maybe the events that you're hosting for your own community, like that really is you building the social proof, you building the evidence, you collecting that evidence so that you can then present it to the organization and then land the actual like higher funding, higher contracts in the meantime. But ultimately, that's just serving as a buffer until you really get your own like event calendar and your audience like seamlessly flowing and thriving on its own, that you don't even really need these larger contracts anymore. Like that was kind of just like, that's a placeholder. That's bringing you the revenue for now, but ultimately, you want to serve your people in the settings that you want to serve them because you know how special they are.
Yeah.
Right. But those things can be built simultaneously. It's about recognizing where your energy is spent and not allowing yourself to get so distracted purely for revenue reasons. Of like, okay, just because like the $10,000 is here with this organization, is this where I'm supposed to be? Like, is that the direction that I'm supposed to go in? When I'm talking to my clients, it's always like, but what do you actually want? Like, where are you going to find fulfillment? Because even if you land $100,000 in those contracts this year, like, how are you going to feel at the end of the year? Still feeling like there's something missing, still feeling like you're needing to build something else, right? So how are you leveraging that just as a resource for now, as really a funnel generation into these other spaces that you're activating on your own, and then building community that way? And then when it comes to these yoga classes that are seemingly filling up with these, have you been doing like outdoor yoga classes?
Okay, I know the episode is just starting to get juicy, but before we keep going, I want to tell you about A Woman's World. It's Harolo's annual summit, one full day, high impact, bringing together founders, coaches, creatives, and women who are actively building something meaningful. Every year the event grows, and every year the energy in that room is something I cannot even fully put into words. You have to be there. We're talking curated speakers, hands-on workshops, and the kind of room where you leave with real clarity, real connections, and real momentum. This year's theme is level up. Level up your personal brands, your leadership, and your marketing and sales, and everything we have planned for this year is built around that. If you've been waiting for a sign to get in the room, this is it. Grab your seat through the link in the description, and if you want the best deal in the room, join as a Harolo member first, because members get up to 40% off on top of the original early bird pricing, so you're stacking your savings from day one. Links for both are in the description. Okay, back to the episode.
I have not. I am starting next week. First, I wanted to say thank you for that, because that was helpful to imagine like it as a film. So thank you for that language. Next week, I'm starting to do wellness sessions at a West Oakland farm park. And, it's been interesting. One person has signed up, but there's been interest, there's been share, and it's just like, it's so interesting. Like, I don't know, I keep using that word because it's like, it's free.
That's literally one of my favorite words. Interesting. It's data. It's data.
It's data, yeah. It's like it's free 30-minute sessions outside and people still aren't signing up. And so I find myself being like, what is it? Like, what's the barrier?
Here's one thing I will say to that.
Yeah.
People find discomfort in the unfamiliarity.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
If they're like, okay, this girl is just like out in nature and like hugging trees, and like I've never done that before, and that feels a little uncomfortable for me. Like, I don't know personally if I'm ready to step into that kind of vulnerability, because you do have to have some kind of vulnerability to
Yeah.
enter into new spaces, right?
Definitely.
So how are you kind of creating this like gateway package to experience that? So how are you blending in the familiar with the unfamiliar, right? And this is why I said, if yoga is an easy sell for you, can you bring that yoga outdoors and then start incorporating elements of all of these rituals or whatever activations you're going to have outdoors into the yoga spaces, so they get a little bit of that, like, oh, I'm coming here for yoga. And then they get this bonus surprise of, oh my gosh, this is so much more than yoga.
I love this so much, because I think without you even being in my spaces and what has been happening, you're naming those pieces so well. And I tell kind of stories. Is it okay if I respond to? Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you for this. I've had a couple people come to my classes and say, I thought I was coming for yoga, now I'm crying. And I'm like, we're talking about spiritual care. We're talking about a spiritual path. And I'm teaching a new class called Soul Care Sunday. And I'm like, I'm taking them to a different level. I'm inviting them into a higher place of conversation with their different parts of themselves. And I almost kind of feel like they're like this at times, and like breaking, and so yeah. I actually met with somebody last year too, who Brazilian activist, artist, just like like just, in the thing. And
Yeah.
she told me, she was like, I've been watching your videos. I've been wanting to sign up, but I'm not ready for it yet. Like I know that it's a tender place, but I know my warrior self and I need what you're saying, but
Mhm.
I don't like and so sorry, this is coming up now because I didn't even think about that. Is like
Mhm.
her knowing that her warrior self is strong. This is what we need to do in the world, but then really yearning for something different and being like and then when I've gone to offerings and like have been outside, it's almost like people have to ask so many questions, then they see people doing it, then they'll join. And I'm like, where the bravery at? Like that's I move where I'm like, I want to do the thing. I'm going to it. I don't need anybody to tell me yes or no. It's a yes, unless I
But
say
were you always like that?
yes and no.
Okay. Okay.
Yes and no. That oh my gosh, brilliant. Vulnerability used to terrify the shit out of me.
Exactly. And you want to layer that into your messaging, like speak to the warrior who's not comfortable yet with being in that vulnerable space, right? Speak to the you that was in that yes and no space. Like, yes, I know I want that, but also there's this hesitation, there's this friction there. Bring that into your storytelling. You're already a storyteller, so tell those stories. Bridge the gap for them. Another girl that I was chatting about, she is very much in the corporate world, but she also started doing this kind of like holistic healing for herself. And she was like, I'm trying to like get my coworkers all in it, but it's like too spiritual, too woo-woo for them. Like breath work, sound bowls, all of that. And I'm like, yeah, it can feel very overwhelming for someone that's not yet in that space. So how do you make it really accessible? Can you give them like a quick little 5-minute breath work exercise that they can do in their office in the cubicle? Because people are always like stretching, right? Like, oh, here, try this quick little 5-minute breath work. Not like, "Come be in, like, my outside space, and we're gonna breathe deep together for 20 minutes and, like, release all of those blocks and, like, cry together." Like, it doesn't have to it doesn't have to be that doesn't have to be messaging, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's actually, like, what is that gateway modality that you can just bring in and just, like,
Mhm.
open their eyes to what's possible? And for the people that are coming into your world that said, "Oh my gosh, I thought I was just coming for yoga, and I'm literally like, my pack of Kleenex is all gone." Like, have them come on as testimonials to share what a beautiful revelation that was, because it's not necessarily that they want basic. They just don't know what they don't know. They don't
Yeah.
know what they've been needing because they've never been exposed to it.
Yeah. There's so many thoughts here. There's so many thoughts because I feel like it's confusing because I feel like I'm doing the best that I can around accessible language, around talking about some of the hesitations, giving space for the hesitations. And then I did a little series that I don't know if I'll continue, but I called it Fresh Air Fridays, which were very short, like 3 to 5 minute practices. And it didn't really necessarily translate, but I did see somebody last week that was like, "Hey, Dominique does this one thing that's online and they're really sweet." And I'm like, "Why don't people give feedback?"
You have to tell them what to do, honestly. You really do. You have to make it so easy for people to do what you need them to do.
Okay.
Because as much as like they have great intentions, if they like everyone's plates are so full.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, even like little things like that'll take 5 minutes to do that you know you need to do, we put things off. So you need to get really specific in your ask and like be okay with asking. And that's also like that's hard to train ourselves to do, right? I'm just saying like, oh my gosh, I loved what you said. Like I would love if you could share that testimonial, right? Can you record a quick video? Can you post something for me? Instead of just assuming and expecting them to do these things. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that piece around the testimonials, I feel really grateful that I have a pretty long page of testimonials. I just
Mhm.
kind of feel like I'm almost like, what do I do with them? Like, I have them on the website, but I don't know if people are going to it. And
So how do you repurpose it? How do you speak to that? How do you layer that into your storytelling,
right.
right? And talk directly to the people that haven't experienced that yet. Like you have this amazing testimonial of someone that came in, didn't think that they were spiritual, didn't think that they needed all these other things that really just came in to like stretch out their tight wad and then like came out fully expanded. And you get to speak to that experience and allow the people that are listening that haven't experienced the work yet, you get to allow them to visualize themselves as that person.
Mm,
Okay. This
look,
was so much fun. I feel like I could talk to you all day, honestly. How are you feeling?
I I'm like, I want to bring this money so I can work with as many people that like you. And even just within the like 30 minutes, I'm so grateful for the things that I get to be with and like sit with. And so yeah, thank you for the tools that you just provided, and I'm looking forward to receiving more information about it. And yeah,
I'm excited to just dive into your work further and see you win. So I am cheering you on.
thank
And
you.
hopefully I'll see you at another event in the very near future.